Radha Sham Sundar Giridhari Jiu Ki Jai. Jai Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Acharya Vrinda Ki Jai. Jai Jagat Guru Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Guru Churamani Sava Shastra Siddhanta Vid Srila Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Nitya Leela Pravistam Vishnupad Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Ki Jai. Rupa Nuga Guru Bhargya Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Kol Kartel Ki Jai. Jai Seva Brinda Ki Jai. Jai Harinama Sankirtan Ki Jai. Anitai Gaura Premanande. Hari 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 Bo. Welcome everyone, our regular Sunday afternoon talk, broadcast from Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mad London chapter, East London branch. Today is the Adivas of Sri Nityananda Prabhu's appearance day, and also it is Varaha Dvadashi today, so the appearance of Varaha Dev, and we were remembering Varaha Dev earlier this morning before breaking our fast for the Ekadashi, which was yesterday. We were observing some worship and remembrance of Varaha Dev. Varaha Dev is the third of the Das Avatar, and appeared in ancient times after Hiranyaksha, a great demon Hiranyaksha, who was the brother of Hiranyakashipu, older brother of Hiranyakashipu. He was the cause of the earth falling out of its orbit into the Garbhodak ocean. These are cosmic events. They're not just mythology. They're something part of reality, but we may not always be able to accommodate that. Guru Maharaj would say, what can you understand with your puppy brain about the absolute? But we are told in Srimad Bhagavatam, the events are told there in Srimad Bhagavatam, in the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. It's interesting that Hiranyaksha, he was plundering the earth of its precious metals, gold and silver and so on. He was mining that in some extraordinary way, and because all of those things are necessary to the ecological balance of the earth, because he extracted so much from there, the earth fell from its orbit into the Garbhodak ocean. And Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport regarding that, he says, now the materialists, they're doing the same thing with oil. So they call it black gold, don't they? Oil, you know. So now they're mining the earth of oil, and he says, he remarks in his purport, who's to say that if they take out too much, the earth won't again fall out of its orbit? So anyway, now that's being depleted so much, they're looking to other forms of energy. So let's hope they do it before it's too late. But anyway, so that's what happened. The earth fell out of its orbit, and in the Bhagavatam we hear from the conversation between Maitreya Rishi and Vidura about this Leela of the Lord, that the gods approached Lord Brahma, what will we do, what can we do? And Lord Brahma was saying, I think only the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself can rescue the earth. He's thinking of some way of doing this then. Then as he's discussing, then from his nostril, one great manifestation of the Lord appeared, coming from his nostril. It says, it says that when he came from his nostril, he was the size of the head of your thumb, and he assumed the form of a boar, and then went into the sky, and then very quickly expanded himself into a huge form, and it's told reddish form, some places sometimes whitish form, and he was by his divine will had assumed the form of a boar. A boar is very good at getting things from a dirty place, or hunting out things from a dirty place, they say, like that. So the Lord assumed this form of the boar. All of the gods and the great sages and rishis and munis, they offered prayers to the Lord, recognizing that it was the Supreme Lord himself. And the Lord, knowing that he is the object of their prayers, he accepted the prayers of these celestial beings, and then he dived into the Garbhodak ocean, and it says that he found the earth by the sense of smell, and then when he found the earth, he lifted it up on his tusks and brought it out of the ocean. At that time he had to fight with Hiranyaksha. And there's some account of that fight, but easily he killed Hiranyaksha, and then placed the earth on the ocean, on the surface of the ocean where it floated, and restored the earth to its balance. So that was Varaha Dev. Then the earth was praised as the wife of the Lord, the Supreme Lord. Said, "O Mother Earth, she has become the wife of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the consort of the Supreme Personality of Godhead." So from that we can understand that we should tread carefully on the earth, understand her not only to be our mother, but actually the divine consort of the Supreme Lord himself. Then we should have some consciousness as we move and live in the world. That is, anyway, after carrying out this Leela, the Lord returned to his own abode, the eternal abode of Vaikuntha, and it is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam that who hears this narration and with faith, then nothing remains impossible to them. Anything that they desire to accomplish, they can accomplish in this world if they listen to this pastime of the Lord with faith. So that's today, Varaha Dvadashi. Normally we are fasting on the day of the advent of the Lord. We fast till midday, but on two Mahadvadashis, which is, two Dwadashis where the Lord appears, Vaman Dwadashi and Varaha Dvadashi, then we are told, we're instructed to fast until after worship of Vaman Dev or worship of Varaha Dev, and then to break, because we have to also break the Ekadashi fast. So we need to take grain on there. We don't take grain and then begin fasting again. We just finish the fast at that time. That's the normal procedure on these 2 days.
What are the Navadvip as well?
Everyone.
In our temple.
Yeah, but there is Varaha Dev, Lakshmi Varaha Dev. And because that part of Navadvip is called Koledvip, and Koledvip means the place of Varaha Dev.
Yeah.
And it's said that after killing Hiranyaksha, that Varaha Dev came to bathe in the Ganges in Koledvip, to cleanse himself there. And so that place became known as Koledvip. And near our mott, there's the Devananda Gaudiya mott, and they have a murti of Varaha Dev there, commemorating that. But in our mott, there is Lakshmi Varahadev, Shalagram Shila. That Shalagram Shila came in a mysterious way. That one Brahmin who was worshipping him, he could not worship properly. Generally, our Guru Maharaj didn't like us to worship the Shalagram Shila. He said, of course, the worshipper may become very attentive to their worship, that they won't make any seva aparad, but because he's Vaikuntha Murti, then that worship is very strict vidhi marga. And if you do not worship properly, then some offense will be committed, and some reaction may come to you. And that was the case with this Brahmin. Although he was a born Brahmin and good Brahmin, his family were becoming ill to the point of death, and he knew it was because he couldn't perform the worship of this Shalagram properly. Just as an aside to that, we can say that one time some devotees from ISKCON, they came with a sack of Shalagram Shilas to show to Guru Maharaj. And what they were thinking Guru Maharaj's response was going to be, I cannot imagine. They would think, oh, Guru Maharaj was going to go, Jai, or something, And they bought them and they showed them in front of Guru Maharaj, and Guru Maharaj was like, okay, what do you intend to do with these shalagrams? And they said, oh, we're going to take them home and worship them. And Guru Maharaj said, no, I can't let you do that. And he said, you'll necessarily have to give them to me. And Guru Maharaj took all of them off them. There was maybe 100 shalagrams there. And amongst them, in the bag, 3 Govardhan Shilas. And those Govardhan Shilas he gave to his disciples, 3 disciples. One was to me. One was to Kedar. Remember Kedar? He gave one to Kedar. And one was to Jagadadija, French devotee called Jagadadija. But one he gave to me, a very small one, and he lives in my house, or rather I live in his house to this day. But the shalagrams, Guru Maharaj, in Aranya Maharaj's room, that means Krishna Sharan Prabhu, there's some rafters high up, and he put the bag there high in the rafters. And every day he's saying, what shall we do? What am I going to do about these shalagrams? What am I going to do? And then one of our devotees, one of our sannyasis said, someone can take them back to the Gandaki. And they come from the Gandaki river that flows through in Nepal. And then when Guru Maharaj got that suggestion, he said, yes, who can take them? And that sannyasi suggested, maybe Mahananda Prabhu can take them. That's our Madhusudan Maharaj now. He was Brahmachari Mahananda Prabhu at that time. Then he was called and Guru Maharaj said, can you take them? And he said, yes, Maharaj, I can take them. And he said, when can you start? Can you go tomorrow? and he said, yes, Maharaj, if you order, I'll go tomorrow. And that's what he did. He took that sack of Shalagram Shilas back to the Gandaki river and placed them back in the river there. And he made that journey alone. And when he came back, Guru Maharaj asked him, what happened, everything. And he said, Maharaj, I think I made some aparad to them and he said, I have a boil on mine. He had a big boil, like the size of a duck egg, on his leg. Very painful boil on his leg. And Guru Maharaj said, what aparad you did? What aparad do you think you did? And he said, sometimes when I was carrying them, because I was alone, if I had to go to answer the call of nature, I had to take them into the toilet with me, because I couldn't leave them. And then, and he said, I think because of this reaction has come. Guru Maharaj said, yes, it's possible. And he said, then Guru Maharaj said, we heard in olden times that the sannyasis of the Ramanuja Sampradaya, after taking sannyas, they would be given a shalagram shila which they would wear in a pouch around their neck, and they would keep that wherever they would go. Then he said one day, one of these sannyasis, he was in the forest, and he was answering the call of nature. He put his cloth over his head, and he's just found a place to go to the toilet. And just as he's passing, the king of that area came by with a hunting party, and saw this sannyasi passing stool, but with the shalagram shila around his neck. And so the king arrested him. He was a Vaishnav king. Arrested him. This is offense to the Lord. Arrested him and put him in the prison. And the next day he was called before the king for the king to render his judgment. And the king said, "My judgment is you shall be put to death for this offense to the Lord." A bit harsh, but but he said, "Do you have anything to say in your defense?" And that sannyasi said, "Yes, Maharaj," he said to the king. "When you were going yesterday with your hunting party, you were traveling on your horse. Did at any time did your horse lift its tail and pass stool while you were riding it?" And the king said, "Yeah, well, yes, it did, as a matter of fact." And he said, "You are the king. That means you are the representative of God. Should you not cut off your horse's head for such offense?" Then the king thought for a minute, and he said, "You are free to go," and freed him. So this was Guru Maharaj's reply to Mahananda Prabhu's offense.
Also, we go to bathroom and all that, and we are wearing tulsi mala. So
It is. What can you do? Then. Anyway, so that Brahmin, he bought that shalagram of Varaha to Guru Maharaj. And before that, he'd been to many temples to ask them, "You please take him, I can't worship him." They all refused. Because not only is it Varaha, but it is Ugra Varaha. That means like an angry form of Varaha. So they knew, no, this kind of worship will be very difficult for everyone and may cause difficulties in the future. So they all refused. And this Brahmin was like at his wit's end, and he came to Guru Maharaj, and Guru Maharaj said, I could not tolerate how much he and his family were suffering. I had to help him. So I took him. And he was installed on the altar in Navadvip, and Guru Maharaj told the pujari, offer every day special sweet rice to him. He will be pacified. And that's what they do, as far as I know, to this very day. That sweet rice is offered every day to Varaha, and he doesn't cause trouble to the devotees or the temple or anything. But sometimes if the offering was late for any reason, Guru Maharaj would ring his bell. He had a bell in his room, like a doorbell next to his bed. It would ring downstairs, ring, ring, and that means he wants to know why. Because Guru Maharaj is listening, like when the bells are ringing for the, and he would say, if the offering is not on time, I may become sick as a reaction to that. So usually the devotees were very attentive to make sure the offering was on time. But anyway, he lives there, and Guru Maharaj said, I think it's appropriate because this is Kola Dweep also. But because of that, it was Guru Maharaj's rule that only a brahmachari can do the worship of the Thakur in Navadvip, and not just a brahmachari, but Naistika brahmachari. That means his whole life he's not passed semen in his whole life. So there's not very many people, but of course when we were there, Pujari his name was Advaita Das Babaji. He was in his whole life a Naistika brahmachari, and also Krishna Sharan Prabhu, also a lifelong brahmachari, and Prapana Tirtha, or Prapana Krishna, his name was Prapana Krishna brahmachari, who later became Prapana Tirtha Maharaj, Bhakti Prapana Tirtha Maharaj. So those three were the pujaris when we came there, and Guru Maharaj had Prapana Krishna Prabhu, as he was, teach me the worship, because I was the first pujari of Radha Shyam Sundar. then Guru Maharaj had him teach me the worship. And when I arrived there, I'm getting, he said, tomorrow, and so I'm getting already thinking I'm going on the altar with Tirtha Maharaj. And instead of going to the altar, we went to Tirtha Maharaj's room, and he had a blackboard, and there he's like stick drawing, Mahaprabhu, Radha, Krishna, and he's teaching me in front of the stick drawing, and I was like, oh, this wasn't what I was expecting. I was expecting, to learn actually, and he said, no, Guru Maharaj told me this way. Then I asked, actually Govinda Maharaj, because he could see I was upset. Govinda Maharaj said, I am not also going on the altar because of Varaha Dev. Then he said, don't be worried. And he said, but remember, this should remember, that if the local people hear that a shy, it means a white person, a foreigner is doing the puja, they'll come with a mob to the gate. And that was how it was in Navadvip in those days. There wasn't internet, there wasn't mobile phones. It was in the jungle, basically, and these people were, from a different era, if you like. Then, so Guru Maharaj didn't allow anyone, what to speak of a white. One time there was a Muslim girl, she was from Iran, and she was doing the service, living in the mosque, but they wouldn't allow her to make garlands, and they wouldn't allow her to chop vegetables for the deity, and she was upset, and Manju Ali was there at that time, and she went to Guru Maharaj and said, why don't you allow her to do like all the ladies do that service, right, when they go there. You've probably done that service when you've been there, making garlands or, all those things. And then Guru Maharaj said, oh, it is not, we do not have any ill will or any bad feeling towards her. We do not think that she is anything less or anything, but if the local people hear that a Muslim girl is doing the deity service there, like even cutting vegetables or preparing garlands, they'll come with a mob to the gate. So for that reason, but we're not thinking that that anything bad about her. And Guru Maharaj called her and pacified her and explained to her. And he said, and then Manju Ali said, but we're also from families of cow killers and from Malecha families. But you allow us to do it. And Guru Maharaj said, no, but you are from Christian families, and Christianity is towards Vaishnavism. Islam is against Vaishnavism. Said everything they do is opposite to how we do it. Even how they wash themselves before praying, opposite to us. Like a Brahmin washes like this, Muslims, they wash like this before they pray. And anyway, all this. And then Guru Maharaj said they consider that cow is the best food. And, we are thinking the opposite of that, all these things. So anyway, things have changed now, and now Navadvip is more modernized, and people don't consider so much in that way. Something.
Is Jesus Christ vegetarian?
I don't know. I never met the fellow, so I don't know.
So she's
Question.
Yeah.
What service did that girl do then?
She could do some sweeping, some cleaning, and things like that. Washing the plates. She did some. She was happy there. She was happy, but Guru Maharaj very conscious about all those things. Although he didn't necessarily support those things as a principle. Like he told us in the Western country, this is not a consideration. Lady can do the puja in your temple. That's okay, no problem. But not here, that would be impossible. But there is no problem. So, different standards for different places, of course. But Guru Maharaj, he supported, more a universal aspect of Vaishnavism. He also gave Manju Ali a Govardhan Shila, and she's living with her son, who was a young boy then. And then she asked him, because generally in the temple the ladies don't do service when they're having their menstrual cycle, then they don't do the deity service or cooking or those things. Then she asked, "What shall I do? How will I worship him during that time?" And Guru Maharaj's reply was, "Do you think that Mother Jashoda doesn't feed Krishna when she has her menses? Then you'd think like that. You have to do the service." So anyhow, but yeah, so that shalagram came to Guru Maharaj and is worshipped there on the altar, Lucky Varaha Dev. And Guru Maharaj called Puri Maharaj, Bhakti Pramod Puri Maharaj, "You please confirm that it is Varaha Dev," because he was the expert in puja in the Gaudiya Math at that time. He was considered as like the authority on those things. And I was also fortunate a few times to help him with his morning puja. He used to stay in Madhav Maharaj's Math in Calcutta when he was in Calcutta, and he had a room there and he would worship. He had Govardhan Shila
upstairs on the top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I also had a poster of Radha Gokulananda from London on the wall, and he would offer tulsi leaf and like this. And then in a singhasan, small singhasan, he had a badge of Lord Jagannath, and he, like the devotees, sometimes they wear them on their bead bags, and in ISKCON and all that. So one ISKCON devotee had given him this badge with a picture of Jagannath on it. He didn't put it on his bead bag. He made a singhasan and he used to do puja to it every day. We can learn something from that. But when he was doing the puja, he used to look at me and then he would laugh. He would say, "ISKCON Jagannath, ISKCON Jagannath." He would do that puja every day. But so that's another thing that we learned from Guru Maharaj, that we don't use Krishna's picture so much as a decoration. If the picture of Krishna is also sacred, then we should offer some incense or like that.
Or book covers.
Same with book covers.
That's
Yeah.
a good people.
Yeah.
One time, I went to a home program, and there was a sannyasi with me from ISKCON, and he handed out Gitas. And within 15 minutes, they were all sitting on the floor.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's why our Guru Maharaj didn't like that. Prabhupada did it for preaching and everything, but put pictures of Krishna on these books and everything, that's okay. But Guru Maharaj didn't like that, because he considered the picture of Krishna is also Krishna. So then some reverential, and that one of the things that drives me crazy is that everything has a picture of Krishna on it.
Yeah.
The incense box has a picture of Krishna on it. Then what will you do with the incense box now?
You have to throw it out, and
Yeah,
throwing Krishna.
exactly. Yeah. So at home I have a bag just with incense boxes and things like that. And Guru Maharaj told us, bury, not burn. So then when I have a quantity, I'll bury them somewhere.
And those little tilak boxes.
Same, yeah.
Got Krishna on them.
Yeah.
And when you finish with that, you're thinking,
What do I do with this?
What
Yeah.
on earth am I gonna
I
do?
think we should make a campaign. Please stop putting sacred pictures on
Yeah.
mundane things,
Not only
exactly.
that, even some things you buy, like Bombay mix or something.
Yeah.
There's Krishna
Right.
Yeah.
on the bag.
Yes, everything. And then when we, when Bhaktivedanta Manor, they send out invitations to, this Janmastami or Rath Yatra or this and that, and hundreds of invitations, maybe thousands of invitations to Hindu families, all with pictures of Krishna all over them.
Yeah.
And what do? They know, the Hindu people know that they can't just throw it in the garbage. And what they do, they bring them here.
Yeah.
Because they think we're a branch of ISKCON, right? So most of them, they bring them here and they leave them here in the temple. And then we have to find some way they're all in Ram's back garden.
I've got a stack of ISKCON calendars.
Oh, yeah.
Plus, I don't know they're full of beautiful pictures.
Yeah,
and
sure.
stuff. What are you going to do?
What are you
with
gonna do with
them?
them,
Chuck all
Yeah.
out?
So anyway, that's...
Hindu people are used to, because when there is Ganesh Chaturthi or Durga Puja,
Yeah.
they make a nice deity and after 9 days
threw her
or
in the
10
river.
days, they're putting in a river.
Right.
That I don't like. It's called Visarjan.
Visarjan, yeah.
I don't like.
But
Yeah,
but
but
they're not. No one's doing Visarjan of Radha and Krishna, are they? You know.
Yeah.
Then what will we do?
the other thing is that that's Mayavad philosophy behind that.
Yeah.
Because they don't see actually the deity as a person.
But Mahaprabhu.
They're exploiting the deity, if anything.
Mahaprabhu said that about Advaita Acharya, right? He said when Advaita Prabhu sent that like cryptic poem to him, you know, it says that there's no market for rice anymore. The market has become flooded with rice, and rice has no value anymore because everyone's got like ample rice. And he says, so you don't need to make any trade of rice anymore. And then he said, and this madman is telling you that everyone has become mad. And from one madman to another, I'm telling you, you don't need to do this anymore. So there's a kind of a cryptic message. And Mahaprabhu, when he received that, he asked Swarup Damodar, what does it mean? Swarup Damodar said, Mahaprabhu knew, but Swarup Damodar said, it means that your function as the Juga avatar for spreading Harinam Sankirtan, it's accomplished. Now your other reason for appearing in the world, you can take your time to do that now. He's like saying, and then Mahaprabhu said, oh, he is like is he like those Visarjan devotees that they call a deity, and after they've utilized the deity, then they say, now you can go, but you can go, you're finished. He said some people are like that. Maybe Advaita's is like that. Is he that kind of devotee? And Srudama said, no, not that kind of devotee.
I wrote to the Shankaracharya of the Shardanath near Chennai, telling them, I said, because I was reading their website, and
Yeah.
my brother-in-law is really like into them.
Yeah.
So, and I heard some of the things he was saying, from lectures and stuff. And so I wrote to the Shankaracharya, and I said, I don't feel any sincerity coming from this.
Yeah.
I said, it's deceptive because you worship the deities. I've seen it myself with in such an elaborate way. And then your whole thing is to dump the deity. I said, how can this make any sense at all? I said, there's no bhakti in this, there's no real service. Needless to say, they never replied to me.
Yeah. Anyhow, but anyway, wait, how did we get onto that? I don't remember. Oh yeah, about how sacred things, everything, sacred things. Like when my first wife died, and some of the devotees, and bless them, they, Nadia Rani, she was 7 years old then, and to comfort her, they gave her two people gave her one person gave her a doll of Mahaprabhu. It's a cuddly toy doll that they make, and another one of Radharani, another person gave. What will she do with those, I know they think, if those things become part of the child's play, but like Prabhupada, he said when he was a child, he did the Rath Yatra and everything, but he didn't make cuddly toys from them, Then all of these sacred things, they become not sacred as a result of that. And of course, we put those dolls in a high place, but they just sat there gathering dust. What will we do with them,
Same thing happens to the small Jagannath deities.
Oh, yeah.
You see a lot of kids playing,
Yeah.
give them those.
But it's...
But that's why our Gurudev said not to do any kind of drama.
Yeah, exactly, yeah, all those things, yeah. So anyway, some other perspective, a little finer perspective perhaps, that we should try to see the sacred things as actually being sacred. And you see when you go to Navadvip, when we would go there are some pictures on the walls of, Krishna or some great Vaishnava or something, but you see every day someone will come and offer incense to that picture. In the winter time, they're putting a cloth around, a cloth around the bottom of the picture, some, not just as decoration. And something may be there for preaching, But we took some picture of, Krishna and Arjun, and then someone says, "Oh, what's the?" Then it gives you some opportunity to preach. But a little restraint is necessary. Not everywhere, all these things, and then what will you do with them? We have bags in the basement of these things that we at some point we'll have to bury them in the forest or somewhere. But it's a big problem. Anyway, I won't because we're broadcasting. I won't tell you what I was going to say. So because other people will see that. But anyway, we try to do that. But for that reason, Guru Maharaj knew, right, that these devotees, they're bringing like 100 Shalagram Shilas. They'll probably end up like on top of the TV or something, What will you do? And we've seen devotees who've worshipped the Shalagram Shila in ISKCON, many of them have come to a sticky end because of that. There was one devotee in I can't remember if it was France or Belgium, and in the temple there, a lot of the devotees used to walk on the roof to chant their japa, and this man had 100 shalagrams or 108 shalagrams, and he would worship. And while he was chanting his japa, when he fell asleep walking on the roof and fell off and broke his neck. And another one in Scotland who had many Shalagram Shilas, all of his family got cancer and died. And we can't say that that's directly related to it, but Guru Maharaj was, for that reason, Guru Maharaj was very cautious about that worship. He told me, my Guru Maharaj liked that his Grihastha devotees will worship the Govardhan Shila. And he gave me that Govardhan Shila. Having said that, we do have 3 Shalagram Shilas here. That some Nepalese ladies came here one day who'd never been here before and never been since, and they left a box with 3 Shalagrams in there. And they asked Toshan Krishna Prabhu, is it all right? And he said, no, you can't leave them here. And but then they asked Bindu Madhav, and he said, yeah, it's fine, leave them here. And they left them here. And I came in and I saw they were on this shelf here in a plastic box. And I thought, because there were flower petals and kumkum and things like this in there, and I actually thought they were gulab-jamans, 3 gulab-jamans, because they're brown and round, and I thought, oh, someone's left. And then when I picked them up, I realized, oh, this is not that, it is a shalagram. And what will I do? It was during the lockdown, so no one can go anywhere and do anything. So I washed them, cleaned them, and I bought a nice box, and with some silk cloth, and I put them in there, and they're on the top of the altar here. And we're keeping them there in a respectful place. And Madhusudan Maharaj, who was Mahananda Prabhu, he said next time that he goes to, because before the lockdown he was doing every year a pilgrimage to Muktinath with the Russian devotees, and along the way is the Gandaki River, so he said next time he goes there he'll take them for us. So we are trying not to make any offense to them. Lord Narayan. Some of the devotees were really afraid, but I said, no, don't be afraid. It's not. We don't have a demon there. It's the Supreme Lord Narayan is there. So you should not be afraid. We should be, see it as the will of the Lord and not be afraid. But we are afraid to make any offense to them.
But some people, Murti or photo of Lord keep moving. Couple of days here and then again move. And it should be either. One place given it's.
Generally, that's the case. Generally, when a deity is installed, it'll be installed there forever. And if you think about that, that's quite an awesome thing. The deity will be there forever. Then that's a huge responsibility. And Srila Govinda Maharaj put that responsibility on my head for the Thakur here, and not just me, all of us actually. But that means we have to make sure their worship goes on after us. Also, we have to make some arrangement that after us that worship continues.
No, not our Thakur, but the people's house.
No, but in that that's something a little different in the house. Because when Guru Maharaj gave me the Govardhan Shila, I asked him, I had at home from previously some Gaunitai deity, and I asked Guru Maharaj, in my home I can worship a deity, and he said, I wrote him a letter, and his reply to me was, Harinam is our deity, no other deity necessary in the Kali Yuga. But if you want to do some Archan Seva in your home, we can discuss next time you come to Navadvip. So, okay. Then I went to Navadvip later that year. This was in 1985. And I asked Guru Maharaj, I said, I wrote you the letter and you said when I come we could discuss. And Guru Maharaj more or less kind of dismissed me. He just said, all right, I will think, and just kind of like waved me. And I thought, all right, I'm not even going to mention it again, you know. Then on the day, because I went for his Vyasa Puja, and as you know, his Vyasa Puja is very close to the Anukut Govardhan Puja day, just a week or so difference. Then it was the Anukut day, and Guru Maharaj spoke about the Govardhan Leela that morning, everything, and we were going, after Guru Maharaj finished, and we were going back to our rooms, then his secretary came after me and said, oh Prabhu, Guru Maharaj is asking for you. And I thought, oh, okay. So a little thinking maybe I did something wrong, you know, he's going to chastise me or something. Anyway, I went back up, and when I came back, he's sitting in that chair with the big flat, wooden arms. And on one of those arms here, there was a piece of white cloth, and this small Govardhan Shila, and some mala made from Radha Kund clay. And they're just on the white cloth, and he said to me, oh, you wanted to do some archan in your home, keep the deity in your home? I said, yes, Maharaj. And he said, my Guru Maharaj liked that his Grihastha disciples will worship the Govardhan Shila. I wasn't familiar with how you do that worship or anything, you know. Then I said, oh, I just was a little afraid, you know, because I'm thinking, oh, Gaunitai, that worship, you can it's kind of casual, it's all right, they're very merciful, you know. Then I'm thinking, Sheila, that's another like kettle of samosas, I'm thinking. So then I asked Guru Maharaj, oh, how do I worship him? And Guru Maharaj said, it is hard. But I misheard him. I thought he said, it is hard. I thought he said, and I said, it's hard? Like, I'm getting panicking now. It's hard? And then Guru Maharaj started laughing, and he says, no, not hard, heart. Krishna likes heart, not so much brains. Then I thought, oh, okay, now I'm okay. Then he said, it is very simple. Just every day offer water and tulsi, he will be satisfied. Then I said, and he said, and what you eat, you offer to him first, and then take that as his prasadam. Okay. Then I said, oh, should I bathe him every day? And Guru Maharaj said, no, not necessary. But if you want, you can do. And I said, but if I start that, then I have to maintain that every day. Guru Maharaj said, no. Family, household deity, according to your necessity. You can worship according to your necessity. So it doesn't have to be like temple worship. So there's some, allowance given because it's your home, in your home and your family and like that, But so like in a simple way, you can worship. And Guru Maharaj gave me some other instructions for that. But the main thing he said, the main thing for you to understand is that our connection with Krishna is through the holy name. Without the holy name, it may just be a lifeless formality. So holy name will connect us with the deity, and therefore we should always. That should always be like the main part of our service. And that's actually true, not just for home, but everywhere, especially. Like in the temple, just like doing the ritual is incomplete. But even without doing the ritual, what makes the service complete is Sankirtan. That the devotees will come and do Sankirtan. That's how we worship the Lord in the Kali Yuga. So that's with the internet. Anyway, we seem to, okay, seem to be back. But yeah, I mean, different from what in one sense. Krishna is no less Krishna if he's in your home or if he's in the temple. Krishna is still Krishna. But the deity that's been installed by our Guru Maharaj, his service, we will give preference to that first. And I often think that like that, right? So on the festival day, this is my own thing, my own thinking. But like on the festival day, even on Anukut day, and I try to, that's the day I bathe him in Panchamrita, our Giriraj at home, and make some offering to him. But you know, like here we try and do big Anukut festival here, or Janmastami, or whatever day it may be. So I think like this, right? That when Mahaprabhu when Krishna told Madhavendra Puri in the dream, go and bring sandalwood for me, right? Sent him to wherever it was to fetch this sandalwood. And on the way, he stops at the temple of Gopinath. And there, you know, Gopinath steals the kheer for him and becomes known as Kheer Chor Gopinath, so that he can taste that. He's thinking, if I can taste that, then I can make that to offer to Gopal in Govardhan. So he's thinking in this way. And then he thinks, oh, maybe actually I just wanted to taste it myself, you know. So then he doesn't say anything, but Gopinath understands and hides one pot of kheer under his dhoti, and then tells the priest, find him and tell him I kept this for him. Anyway, we all know that story. So then after that he leaves and he goes and purchases that sandalwood. Gopal has told him to bring the sandalwood. Then when he comes back, he's got all this sandalwood with him. And then like not a couple of sticks like we do. When we go to Vrindavan, we buy a couple of sticks. A lot, you know, like what you might say, like a shipload or something, you know. But he when he gets to Kirchor Gopinath, then when he's taking rest that night, then Gopal appears in the dream and he says, he's me, you know. We're not different, so you can offer the sandalwood to him. You don't need to bring it all the way here to Govardhan. You can offer it to me in this form, here. And that's what Madhavendra Puri does, right? So I always think, right, if I'm on that day, I know devotees think, oh, I can't come to the temple because I have to worship my deity at home first, or whatever it is, you know. That's all right. But my thinking is, Shama Sundar and Giriraj, they're the same in my house and here. So if I come and do the service here, that's the same as doing the service to my Giriraj at home. I may not have time to do both, and usually I don't have time to do both. But I see it one as the same, but more imperative to do the service of these deities that were installed by my Guru Maharaj. You know, than my home deity. And I think by doing their service, the service to my home deity is done. There's no problem with that. It's just my thinking. I'm not saying it's that everyone should think like that. That's my thinking. But you know, sometimes we have to make a choice, and I cannot make the choice to stay at home while my Guru Maharaj's deity is not being served. You understand? So I have to come and try to do that. So, but there is a difference, because the deity in the temple is usually installed by our Guru. Then for what? So to give us the opportunity to serve. So the deity's here for our service opportunity. then we should take advantage of that. And then also what he has established, we have to make sure that that's maintained forever. We have that responsibility for that. But I also have responsibility for my household deity. When I die, who will worship him? I have to think like that, you know. Also, I'm thinking I'll probably die first, so that'll become my wife's problem. She can do the worship, and then when she dies, she can work that out. But who knows? As it is, in my heart, I cannot think that my children will do it because they're not interested. Then I don't know who I can give him to. But he's also has his own independence, and I think that, you know, usually Krishna brings his servitors to him when there's some necessity. So we shall see for that. But yes, certainly the worship in our home can be more casual, if you like, than the worship in the temple, because that deity in the temple is installed deity. That means by the wish of the pure devotee has invited the Lord to come in the form of his Archa Vigraha for the devotees, to accept the devotees' service. So there is a difference between that and the deity we may have in our home. But there isn't a difference between whether you have a deity like made of stone or marble or a picture, or Krishna is Krishna wherever he is. I had the great fortune to meet Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj on a few occasions, and one time I went to see him in Nandagram, and he had a little bhajan kutir there in Nandagram, and when we went to see him, he opened the door as we were coming. I was with one sannyasi, and as we were coming to there, he opened the door and he started laughing. He was always laughing about, if that was like his kind of form of approval, that his laughter, and he would say, and in his little bhajan kutir, on the wall there's a picture, you know that picture of Gopal with his arm around the deer? You know, it's a very famous painting. So that painting was on the wall of his room. Then as we came in, he gestured to the picture and he said, I was just speaking with Gopal and he told me you were coming and that you would take me to Govardhan. And he said, I want to go to Govardhan. And he was old then. And so we took him to Govardhan. And this is, so then wherever Krishna is, no one is thinking this is a picture of Krishna, or the real devotees, they see Krishna. They actually see Krishna, and they can talk with Krishna and everything.
I was reading Guru Maharaj's book and said Krishna is like a refuge, he's everywhere.
Yes.
I know what
Yes. So, but from our perspective, we see Krishna in his form because we're unable to see beyond that. But still, it's a fact that the form of Krishna is Krishna. But how we're able, we understand that. But with faith we understand that. It doesn't mean that we're thinking we're seeing Krishna. Guru Maharaj said when you come before the deity, you shouldn't think you're seeing Krishna, but rather that Krishna's seeing you. So, then, but we have some connection with Krishna through his Archa Vigraha form. Krishna manifests himself, he appears in the form of his deity. And that may be any kind of deity. Picture is no less a deity of Krishna. If the spirit is there, because it doesn't also mean that Krishna is compelled to be in the deity form, and that therefore it said, when Mahaprabhu appeared,
Thank you.
When Mahaprabhu appeared, Advaita Acharya came, and when Advaita Prabhu came, the baby, he put his foot on Advaita Prabhu's head, and when the
Chair is
Still
wet.
wet, still.
it was wet. Foolish people. Just get a cloth.
Haribol.
Haribol. Sorry to inconvenience you.
It's all right. Last weekend I wasn't feeling. I wasn't feeling well, so I cancelled it.
Anyway, we're very happy you're here today.
Yes,
And,
nice to see all of you.
Thank you. So Advaita Prabhu, he put his foot on baby Nimai's head, and everyone was afraid when they saw that, because Advaita Acharya, he was such a powerful Vaishnava that whenever if he would bow down before a murti of the Lord, it said that if the Lord was not present in that murti, the deity would shatter. When he would bow down, the deity would shatter. So that shows us that that he is not compelled also to be in his form, in the Archa Vigraha form. But generally we consider that he is.
Thank you. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Then so when the baby put his foot on Advaita Prabhu's head, they're thinking, well, what will happen to this boy when he bows down? The murti will break if Krishna isn't present there then. But nothing happened, and everyone was relieved for that. Anyway, so this is the nature of the sacred. Krishna. We are to be reverent and respectful of the sacred, even if we are unable to perceive the divinity there. But because we heard, Saraswati Thakur, he said, darshan, like we say, right? I'm going to the temple for darshan. Can I go? Is the curtain open? Can I have darshan? Like this, we all say, right? But and darshan means to see, literally, to see. But Saraswati Thakur said on many occasions, darshan is through the ear, not through the eye. So by understanding who is Krishna, what is the murti of Krishna, and all of these things, we understand that by hearing from the saint. So Guru Maharaj said when he first came to the temple, the Gaudiya Math in Calcutta, it was at Altadanga Road before Bagh Bazaar, and he said the deity was in the like roadside. The room was like at the roadside where the deities were, and Saraswati Thakur was on the first floor. And he said when I arrived there, I saw that the only one pujari with the deity, and all the devotees are upstairs with Saraswati Thakur in his room. Then he said, I asked the priest, but Krishna is present here, right? He said, yes, he's here. And he said, then how come your Gurudev isn't like living with him here on the altar? And why are the devotees all up there and not here giving attendance to the deity Krishna in the form of the deity? And the priest's reply to Guru Maharaj was, yes, Krishna is here in the form of his archa form, the murti form, but we are considering that Krishna is more present in the heart of his devotee. Then we can get the maximum, you can say, benefit of Krishna's association by hearing from the devotee rather than, just seeing the deity. Saraswati Thakur, Guru Maharaj told us when they were doing Vrindavan Parikram with Saraswati Thakur. Saraswati Thakur would make arrangements, like last minute arrangement. Wants to go somewhere, or wants to do something. He would just tell, whoever his attendant was, oh, now we're going to go so-and-so, this place or that place. And that devotee would have to go and arrange accommodation and prasadam and all of these things. And one day he asked, I think at that time it was Keshav Maharaj, and Keshav Maharaj, he asked Saraswati Thakur, Guru Maharaj, if you could just give me like 1 day's notice so I can make the arrangements. And Saraswati Thakur said, no, I can't give you 1 day's notice because Krishna only told me 5 minutes ago that I was to go there, you know. Then 1 day's notice not possible, I'm sorry. So that was the kind of the schedule. But anyway, one day on the Brindavan Parikram, it's okay, leave it.
Yeah. Okay.
One day on the Brindavan Parikram, then suddenly Saraswati Thakur, he announced in the evening that he was going to give a lecture that evening. Then, but already there'd been a program had been arranged for the devotees to go to the temple of Padmanabha, outside of Vrindavan. You know, some arrangement had been made to go there, and they were going to go for that. And but Guru Maharaj said, when we heard that Saraswati Thakur was going to give a lecture that evening, we didn't go. We stayed, but some people wanted to go anyway, you know, because it had been arranged. They wanted to go and see the deity. And so one sannyasi took those devotees that were on the Parikram party to go and see the deity. And Saraswati Thakur's remark was, they've gone for eye exercise. So going, you know, even like a religious place, holy place, to see the deity, in preference to hearing from the devotee, may just be eye exercise. And so Guru Maharaj would say, you know, what will you see with your flesh eye? You may see, oh, deity looking very beautiful dress, all these things, but how deep will your appreciation be? What will you actually see? You'll see paint and stone and cloth and all of that, but you won't be seeing the divinity. We see the divine by hearing from the devotee, the substantial devotee of the Lord. That's how we develop the eye to see the deity, if you like. And we see the deity through the eye, through the lens of our understanding. That's called Shastra Chaksus, right? Seeing through the eye of the scripture. The living scripture is the devotee. And by hearing from the substantial devotee, we develop the proper eye by which we can see the deity, not just the deity, but the Lord in all his aspects. So that should be our first priority, to develop the proper vision. And not, it is like Kanishta Adhikari, come to the temple and give their obeisance to the deity and go. They're not so interested in the devotees. Put a few pennies in the box or something and go. But when one comes to the stage of Madhyam Adhikari, the actual, you know, like Guru Maharaj said, Madhyam Adhikari means when you're actually doing the work of trying to make yourself a devotee. Kanishta Adhikari just thinks, yes, here's Krishna, here am I, my devotion to Krishna, I don't need anyone else in between that, you know. It's just between he and I, and, you know, everything else is fine. And then they'll come, they'll bow down, and that's good. How many people come and bow down before Krishna? We're not saying there's anything wrong with that. But then they'll go and do anything and everything, eat anything and everything, all these things. But the devotee, the Madhyam Adhikari devotee, those who are actually on the path of developing Krishna consciousness, practicing Krishna consciousness, they want to be in the company of the devotees. They want to hear from the higher devotees. They want to understand who is Krishna and how do I serve Krishna. And for them, the association of the devotee becomes more important even than seeing the deity in the temple. That becomes secondary to them. It is because really we find Krishna in the heart of his devotee. Yudhisthira Maharaj says that, right? Famously in Mahabharata. You are not to be found in the scripture, you are not to be in the Veda, you're not to be found in the temple, but you are found in the heart of your devotee. So this is true, this is very true. And by that association with the devotee, by hearing the truth from the real substantial devotee of the Lord, we develop the proper vision with which to see Krishna and our relationship with Krishna to go beyond just, seeing the Lord in the temple or that kind of darshan, if you like. Superficial eye exercise. It is good because it has some connection with the divinity, but it is not perfect. And we are not saying that our vision is perfect, but we are striving towards that type of vision. A more perfect, a more complete vision of the Lord. And a complete vision of the Lord always means the Lord with his entourage. He is not alone. He is always with his devotee. And that's true here and true in the spiritual world also. Guru Maharaj says you can't be in the spiritual world even after emancipation. You won't be first field devotee. Means like Nanda, Jashoda, Subal, Sridham, all those positions already taken. And Guru Maharaj said not even second line, but possibly third rank devotee, our place, if we're fortunate. And actually any connection, we are to think like that even the least connection with the highest thing, that is worthwhile and valuable to us. And we're not thinking in any kind of, envious way. Oh, they're getting all of that. That's the bar. That's what stops us from progressing in spiritual life. But rather we want to serve them. The Guru Maharaj said, I was writing my commentary on Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. I came to this verse, one verse by Rupa Goswami, and he's saying in there, taking the position, it's like a quote from a devotee, and that devotee says, when I come to serve the Lord, I will not allow even Baladev to serve. I will not allow Lakshmi Devi to serve. Prabhu. I will not allow those devotees. I won't allow them to serve. Only I will serve. Only I will serve. Then Guru Maharaj said, I was discussing with my god brother, who was a good scholar. His name was Ram Gopal Babu, and he said that they were discussing, and they said, doesn't this sound like arrogance? Or only I will serve. And Guru Maharaj said, I'm trying to think, what is the deeper meaning of this? If Rupa Goswami's included it in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, it must be some reason for that. Then he said, then the realization came to me, the meaning is that no, even if Lakshmi Devi comes to serve the Lord, even if Baladev himself comes to serve the Lord, I will have to say, no, you are also to be served. And I will serve all of you. You are of the group to be served by me, and I will also serve you. So this way, not thinking that, I'll take their service, but rather, I will also serve them. This way, the serving mood will be there, prevalent there always, Then all are to be served by us. Like Guru Maharaj said, in that land, every atom is our guru. So in that place, we have to learn to walk on our heads, because how will we put our feet on the earth of that which is higher than our own self? How will we put our feet there? Then that place where we will walk on our heads. What is the meaning? So it is an unthinkable thing, actually, But that's our aspiration. If we want to go there, and we will have to go there with the greatest appreciation for the least aspect of the Lord and his entourage. The very least aspect. That's why we show, right, that we bow down to the feet of the Vaishnava, the feet of the Guru, the feet of the Lord. This is what is considered to be the lowest aspect. We put our highest aspect, our head, we put there. This is to show that we have some appreciation for the least aspect of the highest thing. It is symbolic, of course, but that kind of thought must always be there. That kind of consciousness must always be there.
It's like that story of Duryodhana and Arjun in the Mahabharata.
Absolutely, yes. Yes, so Duryodhana sitting at Krishna's shoulder and Arjun sitting at Krishna's feet, and they agreed whoever Krishna looks at first, that person can decide whether it will be him or his army.
They get first choice.
Then first choice to them. And Duryodhana thought, if I sit next to his head, he's bound to look at me. But Arjun thinking, no, if I sit at his feet, that is proper. And of course, when Krishna opened his eyes, he saw Arjun at his feet. But still Duryodhana got what he wanted, because Duryodhana thought, Arjun will definitely choose the armies, and what use will it be just Krishna, you know? And Krishna's even said he won't fight in the battle anyway. So Arjun's bound to choose it, but Arjun said, no, I want Krishna, even if he's not going to fight, I want him. And Duryodhana was like, all right, it worked out okay. I get the armies, I get Krishna's armies. But, we know that that's not the case. So yes, so this way we're to try and think the least aspect of ourselves to the highest, the least aspect of his self, our highest aspect of ourself, we will give there, submit ourselves there. That will be the proper approach, not just in a formal way, but in a significant way, in the actual way. When we understand, actually it's just a fact, right, that when you come in connection, we're told we must practice humility. And it's like one of the precursors to real devotion, the practice of humility. But when you actually come in substantial connection with the reality, you cannot but be humble. When you come in connection with the truth, the only response is humility. Cannot assert yourself before the absolute. The infinitesimal cannot try to assert itself before the infinite. It's madness, it's ludicrous. This is why, when people, atheists, they shake their fist and say, if God exists, I demand that he comes, shows himself to me now, otherwise, he didn't come, that proves that he doesn't exist, they say very smugly. But why would he be compelled to appear in front of you?
One sannyasi told me from Madhava's Mat.
Yeah.
He said, the arrogant, the materialists, look in the mirror and go like this.
Yeah.
And what do they see? They see the mirror going back.
Right. Yeah.
He says, so they can't get anywhere.
Yeah.
So it's just that ascending process is without merit.
And not just arrogant, but extremely foolish.
Yes.
It's like going in front of Buckingham Palace and demanding that the Queen come out and have a chat with you. What will happen? The police will come and take you away, won't they? If you're lucky. If you're not lucky, men in white coats will come and put you in a padded cell. Because it's insane, right? And that's just the Queen. Who is she compared with the Supreme Lord? Then we cannot make any demand of him to prove his existence to us. Laughable. Totally laughable. So, Shraddha, faith, is of a different type.
The person who has got ego, they are arrogant. And this way they cannot kind of,
Yeah.
give honor to anyone.
But that's true. And that is why, Guru Maharaj says we have to try to dissolve the ego. Ego means identity, right? So there's a Greek word, it means identity. So everyone has ego. Even a sadhu, even a saint, they have ego. But What kind of ego? Here we have a self-asserting, false, misconceived ego, that I'm that man in the mirror. That's my ego, right? Thinking, you know, that's me, and everything that relates to me is mine, right? That's
also ego.
yeah, it's all ego. Everyone's thinking me and mine all the time, right? So it's me, my family, my community, my country, my whatever it is, right? That's all. It's all about me, and that's the misconceived
Taking you down,
ego.
too. These things take us down.
Yes, of course. So that's the misconceived ego, and we're all guilty of that to a greater or lesser degree. We can't say when we look in the mirror we don't think it's us looking back at us, isn't it? We still think, oh yeah, I need to shave, or you know, I'm looking good or not so good, a bit baggy under the, or you know, we still think that's us, right? Even though philosophically we understand that it's not us, we can understand that, but you know, as you know, the outward physical body is the, you can say, the manifest expression of the soul's delusion. That's the bottom line. That our body and our mind and all of those things is the outward manifestation of our deluded self.
The body
And,
is made up of fire material, and
Yeah, we're
eventually
thinking,
disappear.
but we're still addicted to that thought.
It's still there.
Even though we understand, we're sitting here saying we fully accept that we're not that body, that we're not that mind, that we're not that ego, but we can't give up that. So Srila Govinda Maharaj used to say many times, he would say, between us and Lord Krishna is a Himalaya of ego, a great mountain range of ego. If that ego, we could leave that, we would see the lotus face of Krishna.
Because we are taking the ego since childhood.
Not just since childhood, since time immemorial, lifetime after lifetime after lifetime, we've had this misconceived idea about who we are. So it's very difficult to just drop that, even though you understand philosophically. It's very difficult to just leave that. So the only way is by developing your real ego, and that will replace the false ego. And what is that ego? Mahaprabhu is told that, right? Naham vipro narapatir napi vaisho nashudro naham vani nachagriha navanastir jatirva kintu prajan nikila paramanando punamritabde gopi bhartapada kamalayo das anudas.
We are
So-
the servant of Krishna.
Yeah, so that is, we're not Brahmin, we're not Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, we're not Brahmachari, Grihasta, or Vanaprastha or Sannyasi.
But they
So-
said in the beginning, time of memory, the people were according to their taste or their quality, they are Brahmin or Kshatriya.
Yes, but even that is still not who you actually are. It's only for the time being. So Mahaprabhu rejects that. He says, I'm not any of those things. Then what am I? Then he says, so I am the servant of the servant of the servant, of that ever-expanding ocean of nectar, the master of the gopis, Lord Sri Krishna. That's my ego. Mahaprabhu says, this is my ego, that I am that. And when he says, das anudas, that's not hyperbole or just a poetic expression. It's the fact that we are to develop the ego of thinking ourselves to be the servant of the Lord's servant.
Tirtha Maharaj used to say that the primary reason, or at least one of the primary reasons for circumambulation of the deities is that we are thinking with our false materialistic ego, we are thinking that the universe revolves around us.
Right.
But when we are circumambulating the deities, we are in the process, if we are doing it sincerely and praying to Lord Krishna while we're circumambulating, we actually are beginning to understand that actually the world revolves around Krishna
Yes.
and not ourselves, and our real ego is becoming identifiable or
Yes.
emerging.
Yes, this is a wonderful conception. That actually everything in the practice of Krishna Bhakti is for purpose. It's not arbitrary. It's to teach us something. It's to teach us something. So, you know, that's why Gurudev, we see our friend Rupak here, he's always offering his obeisance to the devotees. And I'm reminded that Srila Govinda Maharaj says, oh yes, everyone telling Dandava Prabhu, but no one actually doing Dandava. So this is a good example for us. And that's why every day, when we are doing the morning program, after we circumambulate the mandir, circumambulate Tulsi Devi, we offer our obeisances to each other. It is proper to practice that. And we should make our habit to bow down to before the Lord's devotees, and not thinking that we are too important for that, or whatever it may be. We heard, Saraswati Thakur, he had one very rich disciple. He had a few, but one particularly rich disciple, and his name was Sakhi Charan Rai. And at the time of partition, 1947, I think it was, wasn't it? And at that time, he came from Bangladesh to Calcutta. And he worked in Calcutta as a clerk for a salt merchant. And that salt merchant was a British man. And that British man who owned the company, he said to Sakhi Charan Rai, I want to return to England, and I want you to buy the company from me and take over as the owner of the company, because I'm so happy with how you've served here and everything. And Sakhi Charan said, oh, I don't have the money to do that. And he said, yes, I know that, but my proposal is this, that I will give you the company now, and in 3 years' time you'll give me my asking price from your profit. And then, that was drawn up in law, everything, it was agreed. The owner went back to England, and Sakhi Charan Rai began the business as a salt merchant. Now it was his business, right? And he was also he was a disciple of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And Guru Maharaj said in his office, he had a jar on his desk in his office, and if anyone would come in to do business with him, he would say, first put money in this jar, some pranami for my Guru Maharaj. And then we can talk business. But until you give some pranami, we won't discuss any business. And they would have to. That would mean if they want to do business, they have to give some pranami to Saraswati Thakur. Anyway, he became very wealthy, and in fact he provided the money for the Chaitanya Mott in Mayapur. The main amount of money he gave that to Saraswati Thakur. And he was a very close friend with Guru Maharaj, and when Guru Maharaj came to live in Navadvip, when he found where Guru Maharaj was, he told him, choose some land, I'll buy that for you. And that's where Chaitanya Saraswat Mott is. In Navadvip, he bought that land for Guru Maharaj. But anyway, although he's very rich, right, and he's going about his business, whereas Guru Maharaj said he had a very fine Baba suit, or suits that he used to wear, very nice tailored clothes he would wear. And one day, when he was walking towards his office in Calcutta, it was just it was during the monsoon. So if you've ever been in Calcutta during the monsoon, you can be walking down the street, the next minute you're up to your thighs in water. There's so much rain. And once it subsides, everything's filthy. Mud and, everything there. So this was the situation, the scene there. The water had just subsided. All the pavements and the roads were caked in mud and dirt. And suddenly he sees Saraswati Thakur in the street, and he's walking very fine, tailored suit and everything. And immediately he made his Sashtanga Dandavat in the mud in front of Saraswati Thakur. And Saraswati Thakur said, oh, Prabhu, why you've ruined your clothing, you've done everything, you're a wealthy man, you don't need to do this, And Sakhi Charan's reply was, yes, Gurudev, you say I am a wealthy man, and it is true, but should I be poor only in this? Meaning in offering my obeisance to you, I should be poor in that? Then Saraswati Thakur was very happy with his reply. So, actually, the wealth of the devotee is their submission to the Vaishnava. That's their actual wealth. So, we can learn from these type of devotees, these great devotees, who are willing to sacrifice themselves. You see, generally Krishna's devotees are poor. And Guru Maharaj says, why is that? He said, because Krishna knows that wealth may spoil them. We see that, right? Somebody wins the lottery, they think, it's going to change my life, and the next thing, their whole life is ruined, right? Because they spent the money on ridiculous things, buying things that, and they ruin their life, isn't it? There are many stories like that, But so Guru Maharaj says, we don't want wealth, we don't want power, because if Krishna gives us those things, the likelihood is we'll misuse them. And it's a fact. I mean, let's be honest, right? If tomorrow someone said, you won the lottery, your first thought wouldn't be, how will I use that in Krishna's service? If you're a sincere devotee, it might be your third or fourth thought. Your first thought is, right, let's go on that holiday to Bali, or that will be your first thought, isn't it? Let's be honest, that will be your first thought. And maybe later on down the line, we'll throw some money to the temple, or to our Gurudev or whatever. So even we see in the case of Sudama Vipra, Krishna's friend from school days, when he came to Krishna, his wife wanting him to, ask Krishna for some help because they were impoverished, they were so poor. When he came to Krishna, he couldn't ask him for anything. And even the chipped rice that he'd bought as an offering, a gift for Krishna, he's embarrassed to give that to him, right? He's in Dwarka, in the palaces, the palaces are made of gems. Just take one of those, you'd be set for life. One gem out of the wall. So, and what's he got? Like a little cotton package of flat rice and yogurt. And he's thinking, I can't give that to Krishna, Krishna, he's Lakshmi Pati, then what will this is like insulting almost, But Krishna's like, oh, you didn't bring anything for me. No, and he said, I think you did. And by force, Krishna took that. And happily, Krishna took that, Then, of course, when Sudama returns home, he never asked Krishna, for any help. And when he returned home, everything was transformed, right? His little hut has become a palace. His wife has become like Lakshmi Devi, so much wealth he's got. But he never thought, I've won the jackpot here, now's my time to enjoy life. No, Guru Maharaj said he received that with his service-centric eye. And that's the difference, right? He received that and utilized that wealth for the service of Krishna. Not even for a moment did he think, this is for my enjoyment. How will I utilize this in the service of Krishna? That's the difference. If you have that attitude, Krishna can give you everything, anything. But while you still think that wealth is for your own enjoyment, for your own, for raising yourself up in the world, then it's unlikely that Krishna will give you that, because it will corrupt you, isn't it? They say that money is the root of all evil. They don't say that just for a joke. It's the truth.
If one gives careful consideration to personalities such as Ambarish Maharaj and Parikshit Maharaj, who ruled the whole globe. I mean, we see kings today and heads of corporations and things who own some property, but to own the actual planet itself and then to walk away, just one day say, like that, and just walk away from it all. Right. I don't think we give full credit to their degree of
indeed
detachment.
No, indeed.
You know what I mean?
So that, and especially, of course, in our present age, now Now everyone is convinced that happiness equals wealth and independence. Everybody believes that. We're taught that. The politicians tell you that. Your school teachers tell you that. You know, if you get a good job or a career or whatever it is, you get prestige, you get wealth, you get fame, you have independence, then you'll be happy. But it isn't the truth. It's not. It's a lie, and we have to leave that idea.
Nobody is happy.
No. When Yudhisthira Maharaj, he was at the lake of death, and the yaksha, who turned out to be Jamaraj, asked him 100 questions, and one of those questions, there are many questions that he asked him, and Yudhisthira gave many very inspiring and instructive answers. But one question was, who is happy? And his reply was, who lives in their own home and has no debt to anyone, they are happy. Then our whole world now is based on debt and loan, isn't it?
No
Everything.
house without debt.
No house without debt. No. So then it's very difficult to be in that situation. We line up at the bank, please give me a mortgage. We not even think about what the meaning of that word is. It's a French word, mortgage. It means the noose of death. That's the meaning of the word. Please give me one now. Give me a 25-year mortgage.
But this has been established purposefully by the asuras,
Yes.
those who are averse to Krishna.
But we're thinking that and we're not only do we want those things, we're begging for those things, and we think that those things are going to give us happy. Yeah, well, we think that that's going to give us satisfaction in life. But when Tony Blair was the Prime Minister, he appointed a happiness czar, who was a member of the House of Lords, and his remit was find out what makes people happy. And when he gave his report, so this idea that wealth will make you happy, he said this is only true up to a point. Like Prabhupada used to say, you may be Rockefeller, or you may be a beggar in the street, but you can only drink 1 cup of coffee and eat 2 pieces of toast before you go to work. Whatever your status is, you can't do more just because you've got unlimited wealth. You might be able to eat your toast off a solid gold plate, but still you can only eat it the same amount as the guy in the street, right? So yes, it's true. If you're a beggar in the street, living in the gutter, yes, a little wealth to raise you up will make your life better. No doubt about it. You know, that you're not a beggar any longer in the street. You have a home, you have, the basic things. But just by getting more and more and more and more, that won't give you any greater satisfaction. It's part of the illusion of material life. And what Guru Maharaj said, he said, it is heart disease. It is the disease of the heart to think like this. He said when he went to ask for money from the king of Orissa for building a temple in Madras, and the king, who was a devotee, he said, I cannot give that. You have to go to the Diwan. So during the British Raj, the Diwan had more power than the king, as far as money and taxes and all these things, right? So then he said no. He said, I'd heard that the Diwan was like a half atheist man. He said, so I didn't want to go to him. So I'm saying to the king, no, you should give. You're the king. Like it should come from you. And he thought, I'm going to get more success from the king, but the king said, no. It's not, I don't have the power to grant that to you, much as I would want to. You must go to the Diwan. If he signs off on it, I'll give you the money, basically, So he goes to see the Diwan, and he's saying, the Diwan saying, why should I give money for your, not even you're going to build the temple here, you want to build it in Madras. He He said, go to the Madras government, ask them for. He said, if I have any excess money, I have to spend it for the people here. You know, and then Guru Maharaj said, I realized some heavy medicine was necessary for him. He said, I don't want to flatter him or try to take the money from him by cheating or deception. I want to be straight with him. Then he said, I quoted this verse from Sriman Bhagavatam, which says, when I was a pig, I devoured a hillock of stool, but I still wasn't satisfied. When I was an elephant, I devoured a whole forest of trees, and still my hunger wasn't satisfied. Now I'm a human being, and still I want more and more and more and more. You know, I want 1,000, I want 1,000,000, I want 1 billion. You know, that there's no end to it. And then he said, this is hridrogam. Hridrogam means heart disease. Then he said, then that Diwan, he began crying, tears coming from his eyes, and he said, I am a God-fearing man, Swamiji. And Guru Maharaj said, your eyes bear testimony to that. And then that man, he signed off, and the money was given to Guru Maharaj, you know, so for that, building the Madras Gaudiya Mott, if you've ever been there, Chennai Gaudiya Mott now. But that was the understanding that Guru Maharaj wanted to impart to him. That it is heart disease. In fact, Srila Govinda Maharaj said, right, he said, Prabhupada, Swami Maharaj Prabhupada, A.C. Bhaktivedanta, he stressed very much these 4 regulative principles. No meat eating, no intoxication, no illicit sex, no gambling. He said, but actually Srimad Bhagavatam gives 5, not 4, but 5. And the 5th one is Jata Rupam. And he said, it would be difficult for Prabhupada to tell that one because he needed money for his mission, you know. But Jata Rupam means hoarding gold, hoarding money. And why that's considered one of the places of Kali is because all of those other things, they're all available to you if you have money. You know, meat eating, sexual activity, gambling, intoxication. You can't really do any of those without money. So, or at least not in any substantial way. So Jata Rupam, it's the 5th principle, hoarding money. And Prabhupada himself used to say, if you give me $1 million in the morning, I'll have spent it by the evening for the service of Krishna. So, you know, then that's the utility of money, not to be hoarded away. You know, that's actually sinful to do that. What do we need in our life? That we should consider. What do I need and how much do I need? And sin means anything beyond that. Everyone needs something, right? You need 6 feet to lie down at night. You need some food to put in your belly. You know, some shelter from the world, from the elements. You know, some things for helping your family and so on. But actually, you don't need so much. We're just convinced that we need so many things by advertising, isn't it? You're worth it. That's what they say, right? Because you're worth it. You know, then that's all just hype. It's all part of the trying to convince you to spend your money. Like they want to convince you that unless you have an Apple Watch, you can't be fit. Like no one was fit before Apple Watches or, you know, Fitbit or whatever they call it. Now you have it. It monitors your heart rate. It tells you how many steps you're doing. That's how you're being fit, right? But you know, it's like people after Christmas. People for their New Year's resolution, they have a huge surge in gym memberships. People taking out gym memberships, right? In January, just after Christmas, they all want to get fit. But what they most people don't realize is, or what a lot of people don't realize is, just having a gym membership doesn't make you, you actually have to go to the gym, you know, and actually do the work to become fit. So all of this advertising is just to get you to give your money to people, you know. And why do they want money? So they can be rich and more satisfied and more. It's a big circle. We don't need to buy into any of that. Your life won't be better because you've got an ultra HD television. Like, how much better can it be? You know, it's still the same rubbish you're watching. It's just you're watching it in ultra high definition now. It's still the same. Or that now you've got a 70-inch television that covers your whole living room wall instead of
Glass TV.
yeah, or whatever. Yeah, that's the new one now, right? So, or that you've got the latest Mercedes Benz, or you know, your house is bigger than your neighbor's house, or all of these things. It's all just Maya. Really, it's Maya. You don't need any of those things. You just need enough space to lie down at night, enough food to put in your belly. And that's all. You don't need so much. And really, if you want to be happy in life, try and simplify your life. Guru Maharaj said, running after a wild goose chase. That, you know, the satisfaction's just round the corner. It's just you just have a little bit further to go. Then you'll be happy. No, just stop all that. Be happy now. Take Krishna's name and be happy now. You don't need anything else. You don't. And above your basic requirements. That's what that changes all the time right now. Like if you go to if you don't have a job and you go to the Social Security, they take into account that you're going to need a television now. So they have some allowance given that you'll need a television, you'll need internet, you'll need a TV, a telephone, you'll need all these things. Those are all like considered basics of life. You don't need any of those things, really. And the fact that people think they do is when they get into trouble, isn't it? Oh, I can't afford to buy food for the children because we have to pay the Sky bill. And, you know, it's huge because we got the whole package. We got the Disney channels, we got the, you know, the sport, we got everything. We're paying like 150 quid a month. And we can't afford to pay the kid. We can't afford to feed the kids. So I used to work for a local authority as a building surveyor. And I went round this lady's house once. She's got like a massive television. She's got like, you know, leather furniture, 3-piece suite, everything, like top class everything, right? And then she said, "Oh, there's a big crack in the wall." So I look at the wall, which had just been recently plastered. To put up something in the wall, she'd put a 6-inch nail into the wall, and you know, like, and it had cracked the plaster. So I said, okay, we'll get it repaired for you, but I would suggest that next time if you're putting up a picture, you use like a proper picture hook. You can buy them anywhere, you know, from B&Q or whatever, you know. They won't damage the plaster. She went crazy. She said, "I'm unemployed. How do you think I'm going to afford that?" Like, what, a picture hook? She went completely mad, you know. And I'm looking around and she's got so much expensive stuff in her flat. And I just thought, oh, okay, see you later. You know? People are crazy. People are crazy. What is their priority in life? You know, then they think, oh, I must have this, I must have that, I must have more. Then you have no time for anything else. But you don't need any of those things. Just live simply, without making any harm to anyone else. Take the name of the Lord and try to do a little service here and there as you can. Chant Krishna's name, hear about Krishna's pastimes from the scripture. You can be happy. And then lie down at night and go to sleep. You don't need to have a massive 4-poster bed. you know, with gold
Very good
chandeliers.
sleep. No very good sleep.
Yes, exactly. You can just lie down and sleep. No problem. But even if you have got a big 4-poster bed and gold ornaments and chandeliers, if your mind is not peaceful, you won't get a better night's sleep. Who has a peaceful mind when they go to sleep? They sleep nicely. Then how to have a peaceful mind? By controlling your senses and by utilizing what you have in the service of the Lord. Then you will be peaceful. Krishna says that in the Gita, you know, without controlling the mind, there's no question of peace. And if there's no peace, then you cannot be happy. So everyone wants to be happy. And the formula is very simple. Just try to live simply. And as Srila Prabhupada used the expression, simple living and high thinking. That's a very good formula. Live simply and utilize your time for higher thoughts about higher things. Then you'll see you don't need to worry about all these other things because they're not important. They're only important because we're convinced by Maya. Maya means that which isn't real. You have to see through Maya and try to see the truth. And what is the truth? Krishna is the truth. Krishna is reality. And reality is beautiful. Not harsh reality. People say, you know, the harsh reality of life. You need to face up to the harsh reality. No, you face up to the harsh reality of life. As far as we're concerned, reality is beautiful. Reality the beautiful. Sri Krishna, he is beautiful and he is reality. Once Guru Maharaj said, reality is dancing. What do you think about that? What can you say to that? That is Krishna. He is reality and he is dancing. Then we want to be part of that dance. We want to be in step with that dance, in tune with that dance. Then we will find that we are living in cosmos, not chaos. Cosmos means a universe that moves in a harmonious way. We are part of that. It's only when we are living in a misconceived idea of ourselves and a misconceived idea of life that it becomes chaotic. Then we will not find peace, we will not find happiness, we will not find fulfillment. Those things only available in reality. So once just to finish off, when the leaders of ISKCON, they came to see Guru Maharaj after Prabhupada's disappearance, asking his advice, and many questions they're asking him, Guru Maharaj giving his advice as best as possible by him. But one morning he came and then he asked them, okay, today I have a question for you. You're asking me so many questions, now I have a question for you. They said, and then Guru Maharaj said, what is Krishna consciousness? This was Guru Maharaj's question. Well, they're giving different replies. Kirtanananda Swami, he said, what Prabhupada taught us, that is Krishna consciousness. Guru Maharaj appreciated that, yes. But what did he teach you? Can you tell me? What is Krishna? And they're all giving different ideas, partial ideas. And then finally, they said, then Maharaj, you tell us, what is Krishna consciousness? And Guru Maharaj's reply was, Krishna consciousness is reality. And you would do very well to become acquainted with that. Now, that's the fact. Reality. We want to be connected with reality. And Krishna is reality, the beautiful. Now we'll stop. Here we'll close our talk for the day. Tomorrow, Nityananda Prabhu's appearance day. We'll be holding a festival here from the morning time, about 11 a.m., 10 or 11 a.m. Everyone please come if you can. You're all invited. And the festival will go through the day. And next Monday, following Monday, the appearance of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, our Param Guru. We'll also be holding a festival then. And if you can try and come, we will consider ourselves very blessed if you can make it. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Srila Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Sri Varaha Dev Ki Jai. Jai Nityananda Prabhu Adivas Mahotsav Ki Jai. Vaishnava Seva Brinda Ki Jai. Kol Kartel Ki Jai. Shri Harinama Sankirtan Ki Jai. Nitai Gaura Premanandi. Hari Om.